It was a normal night on Earth. The sky was clear, the stars were quiet, and cities were glowing with lights. People went about their lives not knowing that everything was about to change. At first, only a few people noticed something strange. A dark shadow moved across the moon. It was not a cloud. It was not a plane. It was something far bigger. Soon telescopes picked it up, then cameras caught it. Within minutes, the whole world was staring at their screens. A massive alien ship hovered above the planet. It was not like the ships in movies. It had no wings, no sharp weapons showing, and no fire coming out. It looked more like a giant floating tower, made of silver and black stone, as if it was carved from another world. Lights moved slowly across its surface like veins of glowing energy. Panic spread. Sirens rang in many cities. Armies rushed to bases. People ran into the streets, pointing to the sky. News channels screamed the same words. "We are not alone. Something has arrived." The world waited for the first move. Would the ship attack? Would it open fire? But nothing happened. The giant ship only floated, silent, heavy, and full of mystery. Then, without warning, a beam of white light came down from the ship. It touched the ground in a wide open field outside a large human city. Soldiers surrounded the area within minutes. Cameras focused on the beam. Everyone in the world watched. From the light, a figure stepped forward. She was tall, taller than any human woman. Her body was covered in strange armor, glowing with soft blue light. The armor was smooth and elegant, not like human machines. It looked alive, like it was part of her. Each step she took was calm, steady, and powerful. The soldiers raised their weapons, but she did not flinch. She looked at them, and her voice echoed, not just in the air, but in the minds of those who listened. "I am not here to bring war. I am here to bring a challenge." Her words shook the world. People at home leaned closer to their screens. The soldiers froze, unsure if they should shoot or stand down. The alien woman continued walking until she stood in front of the humans. The white beam behind her faded, and the sky grew dark again. She was alone now, no army, no weapons, only her glowing armor. "I wear this armor for protection," she said, her voice calm but heavy. "But armor hides who I truly am. Without it, can you still accept me?" Her words confused everyone. What did she mean? Was this some kind of trap? Was she planning to reveal something terrible beneath her armor? The crowd watching on TV felt a mix of fear and curiosity. Children whispered questions to their parents. Scientists leaned forward with notebooks ready. Politicians demanded answers. Generals whispered to each other, trying to decide if they should strike before it was too late. But the woman did not move. She stood tall, her glowing armor shining like a star in the night. She waited for humanity's reply. The soldiers shouted orders, but none dared to fire. Something about her presence made them hesitate. She looked powerful, but not hostile. Her eyes, glowing faint blue, seemed to pierce through every human soul. In homes across the world, people argued. "Maybe she is peaceful," said some. "No, she is dangerous," shouted others. "She came alone. Why would she do that unless she wants peace?" Or maybe it's a trick. Maybe the ship will attack when we lower our guard. Fear and hope mixed together like fire and water. The world was divided. The alien woman raised her hand. A soft hum filled the air, and her armor glowed brighter. For a moment, everyone thought she was going to attack. Soldiers gripped their weapons tighter. Civilians screamed at their screens. But instead of firing, she simply lowered her hand and spoke again. "You have lived too long behind walls, hiding from each other, hiding from truth. Now I stand before you. The question is simple. Without my armor, without my mask, can you accept me?" The words echoed across the field, across the cameras, across the entire world. No one had an answer. The ship above remained silent. The night around her remained still. And the whole planet, for the first time in history, waited as one. The mystery had begun. The alien woman stood in silence. Her glowing armor reflected the floodlights the soldiers had set up around the field. Cameras zoomed in, every news channel broadcasting her image. The whole world was holding its breath, waiting for her next move. At last she spoke again. Her voice was not loud, yet it carried power, as if the air itself carried her words into human hearts. "You wonder why I'm here," she said. "I did not come to conquer. I did not come to destroy. I came to test humanity." The soldiers glanced at each other. "Test? What kind of test?" The alien woman raised her hand to her chest. Her armored fingers tapped the glowing plates. "This armor," she continued, "is more than protection. It is my strength. With it I cannot be harmed. With it I cannot be judged. But armor is also a mask. It hides my true form. It hides what I really am. Her glowing eyes scanned the humans standing before her. They looked so small, so fragile, yet their hands trembled on the triggers of their guns. She could sense their fear, their confusion, and their anger. I ask you this, she said, her voice echoing across the world. If I remove my armor, if I show you who I am beneath it, can you accept me? The soldiers did not answer. The politicians watching from safe rooms in distant cities argued among themselves. Was this an alien trick? Was she trying to lower their defenses before an invasion? The woman's words reached into homes, schools, and streets. People everywhere debated. She must be dangerous, some whispered. She sounds honest, others replied. Why would she come alone unless she truly means peace? But what if her real body is something monstrous? The fear spread as fast as hope. In a war room underground, generals shouted, "We cannot allow this. If she takes off that armor and reveals something toxic, something deadly, we will regret not stopping her now." But a scientist at the table shook his head. Don't you see? This is not an attack. This is a challenge of trust. She is asking if we can look beyond fear. Back in the field, the alien woman lowered her hand. The lights on her armor dimmed slightly as if responding to her emotions. Her voice softened, almost like a whisper carried by the wind. Your kind has built weapons for centuries. You hide behind walls, behind machines, behind fear of one another. But can you face something unknown without hate? Can you look at what is different and not call it enemy? Her words cut deep. The soldiers felt their grips loosen on their rifles. The crowd watching on screens at home grew silent. Even children who did not fully understand could sense the weight of her challenge. For a long moment, no one spoke. The alien woman stood calm as if she had all the time in the universe. The silence was broken only by the hum of her armor and the distant noise of helicopters circling above. Then from the human side, a voice shouted. A general stepped forward, his face hard and cold. We will not be fooled, he barked. If you are truly peaceful, prove it. Remove your armor now and show us what you are. The soldiers stiffened. Civilians gasped. The demand was harsh, filled with suspicion. The alien woman turned her glowing eyes toward him. For a moment it seemed she might refuse, but instead she tilted her head slightly, almost like a nod. So impatient, she said quietly. You ask for truth, but truth is not given. Truth must be earned. I will not remove my armor because of threats. I will remove it only when humanity shows it is ready. Her calm voice only deepened the mystery. What did she mean by ready? What test did she have in mind? The general growled and gave orders, but his soldiers hesitated. None wanted to fire. Something about the alien woman's presence felt untouchable, as if harming her would only bring disaster. Around the world, people leaned closer to their screens. Every word, every pause, every movement of the alien woman held them captive. She was not just speaking to leaders or soldiers. She was speaking to all of humanity. Finally, she stretched her arms wide, her glowing armor shining brighter than before. This is the challenge, she declared. Not of weapons, not of war, but of hearts. Can humanity see beyond fear? Can you accept the unknown? Without my armor, can you accept me? Her words rang like thunder in every mind. The challenge was set, but no one knew how to answer. The alien woman's challenge echoed across the planet. Without my armor, can you accept me? Her words lingered like thunder after a storm. The field where she stood was silent. Soldiers held their weapons but did not fire. Cameras continued to stream her image across every screen on Earth. The first reactions were not calm. Some soldiers whispered to each other. She is stalling, one said. She is trying to make us lower our guard. Another shook his head. No, look at her. She's not here to fight. If she wanted war, the ship above us would have already destroyed everything. The officers in command argued over the radio. Some wanted to capture her. Others wanted to retreat, but none could agree. Fear filled their voices. Meanwhile, in homes around the world, arguments broke out. Families shouted at television screens. She is dangerous. Fathers cried, no, she is beautiful. Children answered, she is lying. She is brave. Humanity was split, and the alien woman had said only a few words. In a crowded newsroom, anchors struggled to speak. One reporter said, viewers, you are watching history. An alien has come with a message of challenge, not war. But can humanity accept her terms? The co-anchor interrupted. Or is this only the beginning of an invasion? The debate raged on live television, every second adding to the confusion. In government halls, leaders shouted across tables. "She is playing with us," one said. "If we allow her to remove her armor, what if her true form is a weapon? What if her body releases poison? What if she blinds us with some trick?" But a calm voice belonging to a scientist spoke up. "Listen carefully," she said. "She is not threatening us. She is testing us. She wants to see how we react. This is not about her body. It is about our minds. She wants to know if we can trust, if we can accept the unknown." The words of the scientist spread quickly, yet fear still grew stronger. Back at the field, the alien woman remained still. She did not move, did not raise her weaponless hands, did not even blink. Her glowing eyes simply watched humanity with patience. A soldier near the front lowered his rifle slowly. "She doesn't scare me," he whispered. His partner hissed, "Are you crazy? She could kill us in a second." The first soldier shook his head. "If she wanted me dead, I would already be gone. She came for something else." Nearby, an old farmer had driven his truck close to the field to see for himself. He leaned against his door, staring at the alien woman. His voice was rough but calm. "Armor or not, she's still just a woman standing alone," he muttered. "And she's asking for trust. Maybe we should give it." But others were not so peaceful. Across the city, angry crowds gathered. Protesters shouted at screens, demanding the alien be destroyed before it was too late. Fear turned into fury, and police struggled to keep the mobs under control. In contrast, some groups prayed. In churches, temples, and mosques, people knelt and whispered that perhaps this woman was a messenger, a sign from the stars. Some even called her an angel. The alien woman could not hear all these voices, but she could feel the storm of emotions. Fear, anger, hope, and wonder humanity was showing its heart. And still she waited. Then on live broadcast, a single reporter walked closer to her. The soldiers shouted at him to stop, but he raised his hands, showing he was unarmed. His voice trembled as he asked the first direct question. "Why us?" he said. "Of all the worlds in the galaxy, why did you come here? Why test humanity?" The alien woman turned her glowing eyes toward him. Her voice was calm, deep, and certain. "Because your species is on the edge. You stand between greatness and ruin. You fight each other, yet you dream of stars. You destroy, yet you create. You are both violent and kind. The question is simple. Which path will you choose?" The reporter lowered his microphone slowly. The whole world heard her words, and the debate grew even louder. Some said she was right. Others said she was lying. Some wanted to believe. Others wanted her gone. The first reactions of humanity were chaos. Fear battled against curiosity. Anger fought against hope, and the alien woman? She did not move. She only waited, her glowing armor humming softly as if the answer to her challenge was not in words but in actions yet to come. The world had been asked a question. Humanity now had to answer. The world had heard her challenge. "Without my armor, can you accept me?" But instead of unity, humanity broke apart. In the great halls of governments, leaders argued. Some shouted for peace, others for war. One president slammed his fist on the table. "She is dangerous. We cannot trust an alien who hides her true form." Another leader leaned forward and whispered, "But if she wanted war, she could have destroyed us already. Why test us if her goal is conquest?" The debate was endless. Words turned to anger. Old rivalries between nations began to rise again. Some wanted to join forces to face her together. Others wanted to act alone. The alien woman's challenge had opened not one question, but 1,000. On the streets, crowds formed. Some marched with signs reading, "Welcome, Star Visitor." Others carried banners screaming, "Destroy the threat." In every city, arguments grew into fights. Neighbors shouted at each other. Families split in opinion. Humanity was divided not by the alien but by themselves. Inside schools, children whispered about her glowing armor. Some said she looked like a hero. Others said she looked like a monster. Teachers tried to calm them, but even adults had no clear answer. In newsrooms, the debate raged louder. One anchor declared, "She is testing our trust." "We must show kindness," another countered. "She is manipulating us. Remove her before she removes us." Every channel added to the storm, and every voice pulled humanity in a different direction. Meanwhile, the alien woman stood silent in the field. She did not move, did not attack, did not retreat. Her ship still hovered above like a silent judge. She had said her words. Now she waited. Back in the field, the soldiers themselves were torn. Some stared at her with suspicion, fingers still tight on their triggers. Others felt something else, respect, even admiration. One young soldier whispered to his commander, "She's brave. She stands alone against the whole world, yet she does not shake." The commander snapped, "Bravery is not trust. Keep your weapon ready." In a hidden military base, a secret plan was drawn. Some generals could not wait for her decision. They whispered of capturing her, of cutting the armor away by force. "If she refuses to show us her true form," one said coldly, "we will tear it off her body." Their words were met with silence from others who feared what such an action might bring. Far from the soldiers and politicians, ordinary people spoke in their own ways. A farmer recorded a message. "I see no monster, only a woman asking us to look past fear. Maybe that's the real test, whether we trust what we do not understand." His message spread across social networks shared by millions. But just as quickly, another video spread. A man shouted into the camera, "Do not be fooled! She is waiting for us to lower our guard. Once we do, her kind will strike. Reject her before it is too late." His words also spread, gathering millions more. The division deepened. Humanity began to tear itself apart, not because of the alien, but because of their own fear. In temples and mosques, priests and imams spoke of prophecy. Some claimed she was a sign of hope, others called her a deceiver. Faith itself was split. Some prayed for her safety, others prayed for her destruction, and still she waited. Night fell over the field. Floodlights lit her glowing armor, making her look like a living statue. Reporters stayed close, their cameras never blinking. Soldiers shifted nervously in the cold air. Then, in the middle of the night, something unexpected happened. A group of protesters broke through the barriers. They carried torches and shouted, "Leave our world! You are not welcome here!" Soldiers rushed to stop them, but the alien woman raised her hand. A soft hum filled the air and the protesters froze. Their torches flickered out. Not a single person was harmed, but silence fell. She had not attacked, only stopped their rage with a wave of her hand. Her glowing eyes scanned them slowly. "Do you see?" she said, her voice calm but heavy. "Fear blinds you. You fight each other because of me. But I have not struck you. Your enemy is not me. Your enemy is your own division." Her words struck deep. Even those watching from far away felt a sting of truth, but still no answer came. Humanity was not ready. For every voice calling for peace, another demanded war. For every prayer of hope, another curse of hate. The world was split in two, and the alien woman remained the center of the storm. She had offered a challenge. Humanity had revealed itself, not as united but as divided, and she knew. The true test had only just begun. The world had argued, shouted, and fought over the alien woman's challenge. Nations were divided, families split, protests filled the streets. Hope and fear clashed like storms in every corner of Earth. But through all the noise, she remained silent. She stood in the open field beneath her hovering ship, glowing armor humming softly in the night. She waited for humanity to decide. And when humanity could not, she made her own choice. It began with a sound, a low vibration that rolled through the ground. Soldiers gripped their rifles tighter. Cameras zoomed in. Civilians watching on screens leaned forward in their chairs. Something was happening. The alien woman raised her hand toward the sky. The armor across her body pulsed with light, brighter and brighter until she was like a living star. People shielded their eyes but did not look away. "You cannot decide," she said, her voice echoing across the field. "So I will decide for you. Tonight you will see me. You will face truth, and truth will test you." Gasps filled the crowd. Was she really about to remove the armor? Was the moment finally here? The glowing plates on her body shifted. They moved slowly like pieces of glass sliding apart. Blue light leaked out from the cracks, spilling across the field like rivers of fire. A strange sound filled the air, half mechanical, half alive, as the armor began to dissolve. Soldiers shouted warnings. "Stay back. Stay back!" But no one moved. Not even the soldiers themselves. They were trapped between fear and wonder. One by one, the glowing plates faded into dust, breaking apart into silver sparks that floated upward, disappearing into the night sky. Her helmet dissolved last, leaving her face hidden until the very end. Cameras captured every moment. Billions of humans across the planet watched, unable to blink. Was she about to reveal beauty, hate, or horror? Her armor fell away until only fragments remained across her shoulders and arms. Beneath it, glimpses of her true form began to show. Not metal, not machine, but something otherworldly. Her skin shimmered like crystal under moonlight. glowing faintly with colors that shifted like water. Children watching at home whispered, "She looks like a star." Adults whispered, "She looks like danger." In the control rooms of governments, some leaders slammed their hands on desks. "Stop her now!" they shouted. "Do not let her finish." Orders were sent to the soldiers at the field, but the soldiers hesitated. They could not raise their weapons. They could not interrupt. Something about her presence was stronger than fear. The alien woman spread her arms as the last of her armor dissolved into light. Her helmet cracked apart, shards of silver fading into the night sky. For the first time, her face was revealed. Gasps rang out from every corner of Earth. She did not look human, yet she did not look monstrous. Her face was smooth, sharp, and strange, but not frightening. Her eyes glowed like twin crystals, deep and endless. Her skin shone as if made from living glass, reflecting every color at once. Her hair flowed like threads of silver fire, shifting with the wind, though no wind blew. She was alien, but she was also breathtaking. The soldiers lowered their weapons without realizing. The reporter in front of her dropped his microphone. Around the world, silence filled every home, every hall, every street. She spoke again, but now her voice was different. Without the armor, her words were softer, but they carried deeper. They touched the heart. "This is me," she said simply. "No armor, no mask, no shield. Now humanity, the test begins. Do you see an enemy, or do you see another life?" Her question fell heavy on human hearts. Some cried with awe. Some trembled with fear. Some shouted that she was beautiful. Others shouted that she was dangerous. Humanity's division had grown sharper, but now it was no longer about the unknown. It was about what they could see with their own eyes. In the crowd of protesters, one man screamed, "She is a trick. She hides a weapon inside her crystal body." Another fell to his knees and whispered, "She is an angel. She came to save us." The alien woman did not move. She let them argue. Let them fight, let them reveal themselves. She was no longer hiding. Above, her ship remained silent. No weapons fired. No army descended. She truly stood alone. For the first time in human history, the world was looking directly at something not human, not from Earth, and not hidden behind machines. It was the raw truth of the universe, and humanity could not agree what it meant. The field was silent. The last sparks of her armor floated away into the night, leaving only her true body standing beneath the stars. For the first time, humanity saw her without the glowing shell, without the mask. She was alien, yes, but not monstrous. Her skin shimmered like living crystal, glowing faintly with shifting colors, blue one moment, green the next, sometimes silver like the moon. Her eyes shone like deep gems carrying light that seemed endless. Her hair drifted like liquid silver, moving slowly as if underwater, though no wind touched it. She was unlike anything Earth had ever known. The soldiers who stood nearest to her felt their hearts pound. Some whispered prayers, others only stared in silence. One young soldier lowered his rifle completely, his hands shaking, not from fear, but from awe. He whispered to himself, "She looks alive. Not like a machine, not like a weapon. She looks like life." Around the world, people reacted in waves. In homes, families gasped. Children pointed at the screens with wide eyes. Some said, "She is beautiful," while others whispered, "She is frightening." In government chambers, the arguments grew hotter. Some leaders shouted, "She has revealed her weakness, strike now while she is unprotected." Others leaned forward, staring at the image of her face. "No," they whispered. "Look at her. She is vulnerable. This is not a trick. This is trust." News anchors struggled to speak. One stammered, She does not look human, but she does not look like a monster either. What does this mean? Is she here as friend or foe?" But the alien woman herself remained calm. She stood with her hands open at her sides. No weapons, no defenses, no armor. She looked at the soldiers in front of her, then at the cameras broadcasting across Earth. "This is me," she said softly. Her voice was no longer amplified by the armor. It was not thunder. It was gentle, like water flowing through stone. Yet it carried weight that no human could ignore. "Now, humanity, see with your own eyes. Judge me as I am, not as I was." Her words struck deep. The first reaction came from the crowd of protesters beyond the barrier. A man screamed, "She is a demon! She shines to blind us. Do not believe her lies." He threw a rock toward her, but it fell far short, bouncing harmlessly in the grass. Soldiers rushed to silence him, but the alien woman only watched. Her glowing eyes turned back to the soldiers. "Do you see? she asked. Fear is louder than truth. But fear cannot hide forever. One soldier stepped forward, his voice shaking. Why show us this? Why now? Why here? She tilted her crystal face slightly. Because you are not alone. You have never been alone. My kind has watched your world for centuries. Some believed you would destroy yourselves. Others believed you could rise. I came to see for myself. Her admission sent shockwaves across the planet. Humanity had always wondered if they were being watched. Now the answer was before them, standing on their soil. In a dark room filled with military leaders, one general slammed his fist down. This is proof! They have been spying on us all along. She is a spy, nothing more. But another officer whispered, if she was sent to harm us, why reveal herself now? Why make herself weak before us? Back in the field, the alien woman lifted her hand. Light pulsed from her crystal skin, forming shapes in the air. Images appeared like holograms, scenes of human history. Wars, battles, weapons, cities burning. Then images of kindness, hands helping the wounded, strangers feeding the poor, children laughing. This is you, she said quietly. Both destroyer and protector. Both violent and gentle. Both cruel and kind. Your armor is not made of metal, but of fear, just like mine. Her words froze the world. Humanity had always hidden behind weapons, walls, and suspicion. And now this alien, strange yet vulnerable, was telling them the same truth. The silence was broken by a small voice. In the field, a child who had slipped past the barriers shouted, "You're not scary." Soldiers rushed to grab the child, but it was too late. The alien woman turned, her crystal eyes softening. She knelt slowly, lowering herself to the child's level. Her glowing hand touched the ground and she whispered, "You see me, not my armor." "That is courage," the crowd gasped. The child reached out, touching her shimmering hand without fear. For a moment, human and alien were connected. It was a simple moment, but it shook the earth. Some cried, some cheered. Others screamed in anger, but no one could deny what they had seen. The alien woman was no longer a mystery in glowing armor. She was real, visible, vulnerable, and humanity now had to decide. Accept her, or reject her. The child's small hand touched the alien woman's crystal skin, and for a heartbeat the world froze. Soldiers held their breath. Reporters lowered their cameras. In homes across the planet, people leaned forward as if the moment were happening in their own living rooms. The alien woman did not move away. She allowed the child's touch, her glowing eyes softening with something that looked like warmth. For the first time since she had arrived, she smiled. It was a strange smile, sharp and luminous, yet full of gentleness, but not everyone felt comfort. A soldier shouted, "Get the child back! Now!" He rushed forward, pulling the boy away from her touch. The boy cried out, reaching for the crystal figure again, but the soldier dragged him back behind the barrier. The alien woman rose slowly to her full height. She did not look angry. She did not look hurt. She simply looked at the crowd, then at the cameras, and spoke. A child is brave because a child has not yet learned fear. Adults teach fear. Adults build walls. But a child sees truth. Her words spread across earth like a wave. Some nodded in agreement. Others shouted in rage. The divide grew sharper. In cities, massive crowds formed. In one square, thousands held candles chanting for peace and acceptance. In another square, thousands more carried signs demanding war, demanding her destruction before it was too late. Police forces struggled to hold the lines as human anger spilled into the streets. Governments also reached a breaking point. In one council, leaders argued furiously. A general slammed his hand on the table. "She is manipulating us. She is trying to turn our children into weapons of peace. We cannot allow her to stay." Another leader raised his voice. "But look at her. She revealed herself, made herself vulnerable, and still we threaten her. Perhaps she is right. Perhaps the danger is not her, but us." The world's greatest powers debated not only about her, but about each other. Should they stand together or fight for control of the decision? Old rivalries grew sharper under the weight of her presence. Humanity was not only divided about her, it was divided against itself. Back at the field, tension rose to the edge of breaking. Soldiers still surrounded the alien woman. Their guns were raised again, though their hands trembled. She did not resist. She simply stood, glowing softly under the floodlights, waiting. A voice shouted from the crowd beyond the barriers, "We accept you." Dozens echoed the words. Then another voice cried, "No! Kill her now!" A storm of voices rose, half in hope, half in hate. The alien woman lifted her hand for silence. Light shimmered across her crystal skin. Slowly, the crowd grew quiet again. "This is the choice," she said. "Not my choice, yours. I have shown you who I am. I have hidden nothing. Now you must decide, will you reach out or will you strike?" Her words pierced into every home, every hall, every heart. Humanity had been given the final question. The soldiers looked at each other. One young man lowered his gun completely. His commander barked, "Raise your weapon!" But he shook his head. "I can't, she's unarmed. She's not attacking." Other soldiers hesitated, their weapons shaking in their hands. In the control rooms of the powerful nations, leaders shouted new orders. Some demanded an attack. Others screamed for patience. The planet stood on the knife's edge. At that moment, something unexpected happened. The same child who had touched her hand earlier slipped past the guards again. His small feet ran across the grass, and before anyone could stop him, he grabbed the alien woman's hand once more. The cameras caught it. The whole world saw it. The alien woman looked down at the boy, then back at the soldiers, then at the cameras. She raised the boy's hand gently and said, "This is courage. This is choice. The smallest among you has shown the greatest strength." The silence that followed was heavier than thunder. Some soldiers lowered their guns completely. In the crowd, some protesters dropped their signs, tears on their faces. But others grew more furious, screaming at the screens, shouting that humanity was being tricked. The divide had never been clearer. Some saw hope. Others saw doom. But one truth could not be denied. The decision could no longer be delayed. Humanity had to choose: accept the alien woman, or reject her forever.